Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
What up, what up, what up, everybody? We are back, and it's a Thursday, Mike. Unbelievable. The Mike and Mish show is back from a little hiatus, and vacation was good, but I'm ready to talk some stuff here with you, Michael. What's going on?
Wow. Man, it's been a minute. There's a whole lot to catch up on. You're back. What's going on? How was Mexico?
Dude, I went down to Mexico, had a blast. We went to this all-inclusive resort, and I just relaxed for a week straight. We did do like tourist stuff here and there. We did 2 days of like actual tourist stuff because the kids have never been down there. So we went swimming with the dolphins one day, and then we went to this park called Xcaret, something like that. And it was like underground Mayan rivers and like a cemetery. We went to the cemetery. It was cool. It was definitely cool, but for the most part, huh?
You didn't get possessed by evil spirits or anything?
No ghosts, Mike. But I did enjoy the all-inclusive food and drinks in the beach, in the sun. And Nolan ended up finding himself in a basketball tournament at the resort, and the kid fucking cooked, man. You should have seen him out there. He looked like Billy Ho from White Men Can't Jump. You know, he had the flashy colored shorts on with the tall white socks. And he hit a couple jumpers. He hit the game-winning. They went by 1s and 2s to 20-21, 5-on-5. And
Nice.
Nolan hit the 2-pointer to seal the game because the kid's
Crushed
a G. Yeah, I got pictures and stuff. I'll post them. He was awesome. It was a good time. But we're back now, dude, and a lot of things have happened. There's a new main event. I'm sure everybody's been talking about it while I was gone for a week, but there's a new main event for this weekend. Chris Camozzi is going to come on a little later tonight. We're going to talk to him about it. He's no longer fighting Lorenzo Hunt. And I apologize because I don't really know how to pronounce the guy's last name.
How do you pronounce it? I know how I pronounce it.
I would think it's like Ricci, but Beachy. Is it Andrea Beachy?
That's That is what I think. If you were smart, that's how you would say it.
Yes,
But
I
if you
think that's
were
how
just a layman like me, I would look at it and I read it as bitchy. That's when
bitchy.
when I saw it, I was like, Camozzi versus bitchy. So
Yeah,
that can't be
I'm
his
sure
name
it's
though. That's
beachy.
just the American in me.
I'm sure it's like Francesco Ricci. Is it
Riki,
Ricci or
Beaky,
Ricci? Beaky. Oh, Beaky would be weird.
Riki, Beaky,
Somebody in the comment section,
Mikey,
you guys listen to
Mishi.
the Bare Knuckle show with Brian Sosha on Tuesday, and I heard Dave Feldman was on, and they were talking about it. So how did those guys, Bicky,
Like B and key, like a
Falcon saying
key for a
Falcon
door.
09, shout out, let's go boy, Falcon 09 is saying Bicky,
Bicky. What? This is changing everything I know about Italian. This is insane.
Kyle, Mike, y'all coming to Clearwater. We are not coming to Clearwater, guys. I don't know what we have too much goddamn stuff going on in it's turning out that like our army lives and the events now that they're so often, they're just not lining up with our damn
Seems like
schedule.
we don't make it to a lot, but I think it's just they're having so many damn things, so you can't keep up. Can't keep up with them.
So many. We want to for sure, but we didn't have a show last week, but the weekend before that was Dubai. Dude, we didn't even get to talk about Dubai.
Oh my
Dubai was
God.
insane. And our first guest of the evening tonight kind of stole the show on the first night of the 2-night extravaganza, right? Jonny Tello steps in there, big underdog against Sabah Hamasi.
Crushed it.
He's getting beat up in the first 2 rounds. Sabah's looking like he's some Terminator in those first 2 rounds and completely gasses out. And Jonny Tello goes to war with him for the next 3 rounds and does the beating. After like, man, what a tough dude.
He certainly did.
Yeah, coming off this vacation and taking a break from the show, we had to come back and get him on here. So we're gonna have Jonny Tello on tonight. Then we're gonna talk to Camozzi.
Funny story.
What's up
about BKFC Dubai, because the timing of it back home was a little off, right? I wasn't just sitting at my house hanging out, having a drink, talking shit. No. I was walking around the supermarket, and this is on day 2. Right? I'm in the supermarket with my headphones in, and I have my phone up in the seat where a kid would sit. So I have a hoodie and I folded it up and I was laid my phone there. I was in the supermarket for probably 2 hours, I swear to God, and I got like half the stuff I needed. I couldn't keep
2 hours.
I kept pulling over, and I was just standing there, just looked like with my hands. I'm watching the fucking thing. People.
Did you watch the whole event?
Just go around me. Yeah, I watched almost a full main card. I kept going. Everybody go around me. Just go around me. And I kept like moving over to areas where I thought people wouldn't go, but people kept going to the areas I was at, and it was getting me so fucking mad. So I'm watching. I am standing there, right, and I'm watching Borga, right. I'm watching the Borga fight.
Oh my God.
And I am watching it, and all of a sudden, she just fucking lands that shot, right? And I just yell. I yelled out loud. And I'm talking about the way I would if I was sitting on my couch with my friends, with my boys, watching some fights on a Friday night. I yelled I was like, oh, like that. And there was like 3 women around me with their shopping carts. 2 older ladies, like probably 70 plus, and like a 60-something or maybe 50s. They looked like someone got shot in the aisle. I yelled so loud. They were like, like this. And I looked up, like I instantly remembered where I was. And I looked at them and I went, I pulled out my AirPod. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm watching I called it boxing. Forgive me. They don't know what bare knuckle is.
They don't know.
I said, I'm watching boxing. And they were like, oh my God, I thought you got hurt. And I was like, no, I didn't get hurt. And I just started laughing. And I swear to God, they look frightened.
So I was at drill both days, and both days, I believe, maybe not the first day, but I definitely was doing some unsafe driving because I put it on my phone and I put it on the dashboard right in front of my speedometer. And I was driving on Route 2 all the way home, nice and slow. Just I put the speed limit on cruise control, and I was just watching the fights, driving home from Hartford both days. It was freaking great.
Need a Tesla.
Yeah, I need.
As long as somebody doesn't Molotov cocktail that thing, you could just ride around and just watch TV, and it'll get you to where you need to go. We don't have time for driving anymore.
Listen.
No, that's someone else's problem now. Someone else
Right.
can drive my car. I need to watch shit. All right.
Listen, hey, we got our first guest in the virtual green room right now, waiting to come in. So let's shout out our sponsors and get the show on the road. Mike, yuck it up for us.
Hello, what's going on? Dynamic life, sexual health, weight loss, and anti-aging. Retake control of your life by reaching optimal health. Visit www.livedynamic.com. It's the only online platform where you can become a patient in under 20 seconds. Also, check out their Instagram page at Live Dynamic. That's LIV Dynamic on Instagram.
Nobody's got a better yuck it up voice than you, Mike. Fucking fantastic. Hey, and then get over to the Rasha at Rasha Elite on Instagram and therasha.com. They are the official mindset recovery and performance partner of the BKFC and also champions in the BKFC like Christine Faria, Austin Trout, and former champion Dan Chapman and your boys, the Mike and Mish show. Get over to the Rasha. Get over to Dynamic Life. Hit that stack, baby. The Mike and Mish stack. You get your sexual health up. You get you get skinny. You live forever. You fuck like an animal, and you get yourself in a proper championship mindset while you're at it. Right, Mike?
Better than that. What's better than that? I love it so much. I love it so much. You love it so much, and I just know that Johnny Tello is going to love it so much. Everybody else, when we come back, we will be joined by the man who made Dubai, Johnny Tello. Let's go.
There he is. There he is, the guy that stole the damn show. Jonny, El Toro, Tello. What's happening, my friend?
How you doing, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yo, what's up?
Listen, Jonny, we've been hearing so much about you for so long because we're friends with a guy with a crazy son of a bitch by the name of John Nutt who never stops talking about Johnny Tello. And I believe we knew about you, but now the world knows about you because you went in there against Sabah Hamasi in Dubai, BKFC 71. And man, the performance you guys put on was definitely a fight of the year candidate, I believe. You guys won fight of the night. It was a fantastic show of heart and resilience by you and fucking toughness through the roof. Talk a little bit about this. You came in there the underdog against Sabah Hamasi and you come out the victor. You just run us through it a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Well, yeah, I took this fight on I think 6 weeks notice. I wasn't training at all before that. I have a gym in Pattaya, and I live in Thailand, and I've been working on the business that's all I was doing. And then when I got called up, I've been asking for a fight for a while. Luckily, I met, like you said, the crazy guy, John Nutt. I always do the fight circus stuff. Yeah. And I met Todd Duffy. We became boys, and he was signed with BKFC, and he hooked me up with somebody that knows somebody. And then eventually I got a call for Dubai. So, you got to put your money where your mouth is. So when they offered me the fight and they offered me who it was, I was like, all right, famous guy, ex-UFC fighter, bigger than me, but fuck it. This is the chance to do it. So, so I took the fight. I knew it was going to be underdog, and I knew he was bigger than me, but if anybody's ever seen my fights, 90% of the guys I fight are a lot bigger than me. So to me, it's not a problem.
Listen, anybody that goes the distance with Barry Jones, is about as tough as they come. That guy's no fucking joke. And you did that. Sabah, do you think he maybe underestimated you going in there? He looks like he emptied the tank in the first 2 rounds, and then you just poured it on him for the next 3. It's crazy.
Yeah. Possibly, probably. Like if sometimes people don't take me seriously when they see me. In a sense, I don't look like too much of a fighter. But yeah, but he did go all out in the beginning, and after the first round, I'm good friends with Panda Banks. He was actually one of my first coaches when I ever moved to Thailand, and we both did Fight Circus together. And we were actually talking about his fight when he fought at the Knucklemania show, and how he Homer Simpsoned it. And then I remember him breathing hard and heavy after the first round, and I was thinking, maybe I can Panda Banks this a little. And then the second round came up, and then after the second round, I was like, oh yeah, I got him now, because I see him breathing so heavy. I was throwing hard too, but like I've been training for like to push myself for 2 minutes as max. And it's his only second bare knuckle fight, and it's the first war. So I've had it's my 5th, and like you said, when going the distance with Barry Jones, 7 rounds, that was something on another world. And after that, everything's kind of easy, because that was brutal. The 7-round war with Barry Jones.
You look great. Just what was it, 2 weekends ago? So you fighters always surprise me and Mike. We always talk to you guys like a week or 2 after, and it looks like you were never in a fight. You all freaking heal like Wolverine somehow. But you look great. Do you go back and watch it? Did you go back and watch the fight a few times?
Yeah. I've watched it quite a few times. I've been forced to watch it a few times. Everyone's like, I want to watch it with you and all that stuff. So
did you hear Chris Lytle actually say he's using the Homer Simpson?
Yeah, I did.
He actually says it in the fight.
Kind of funny,
yeah.
He said something. He was using the Homer Simpson complex, which I was, but not consciously. When you get hurt, the first round he jabbed me in the eye. Fuck, that killed. And but I had a fight, my first BKFC fight. I fought Sinsamu Klimni, which is one of the most famous Thais in Thailand. One championship fighter, fought for the world title tons of times, world champion. And when we fought, the same thing happened. First round, he jabbed me right in the eye, and so I already had that experience of fighting blind. So I just had to keep going. I wasn't gonna lose that fight. No fucking way.
Over on Instagram over here. Shout out to Dylan Shane and Redneck Mundell and you guys over there on Instagram. He says literally folded him. Your conditioning was unreal, and which is funny because if you look at the 2 fighters, nothing against you. You look at the 2 fighters in the ring, you think that Oz is the most conditioned guy in the world the way he put together, but you out toughed him,
No, yeah. Well, I had to lose a lot of weight for this fight. Let myself go a little bit. I had the girlfriend complex. You get a girl, so you just start eating whatever they make you food and all that stuff. So that's what that was part of the problem. But and then when I started getting down, I had to water load, and I lost like 15 pounds in like the few days before the fight. So like rehydrating as much as I could and eating all the bad carbs I could to retain the water. I was like, I come in looking a little fat, but at least my brain's hydrated. I'm always worried that like if you lose too much water, you get knocked down and stuff like that, or knocked out. So I do what I do, what I have to do, despite what I look like. And then a few days later, I look back to normal. But it's always like the day or two, the day I fight, I look extra large and in charge.
At the end of the fight, you guys get interviewed, right? And, he gave you props. I feel like, Connor came in there. He's raising up your hands. Like, you guys look like you're going to die. It's almost like it's Connor. So you got to do it. But it's like, I felt like you guys, oh, fuck, we're so tired right now. We can barely stand. But he says during his interview, if I remember correctly here, that you didn't hurt him. What? How does somebody say that after the fight? After what happened in that fight? Did you hear that, or is that just like a bravado thing?
Yeah, I think I heard something like that. He just had a big ego, When you get the first round he kicked my ass a little bit. Second round started coming back, but from the third to the fifth round, I beat the shit out of him. So I'm surprised they didn't stop the fight. At one point, I was punching him like so much. I looked back at Dan. I was like, Dan, come on, bro. Like, you're losing me my knockout bonus. Even after the fight, he was a bit sour. I talked to him after, and then we squashed it, and then he was cool. But I'm a little bit different. If I lose, I'm a martial artist first. So if I lose, it's whatever you lose. I'm there to win or lose. Doesn't matter. When I go in there, I'm ready to die. It's just how I am. I won't go down for nobody. But ego makes you feel certain ways. No one likes to lose. Especially when he was talking so much shit before. Before the event, we had the press conference, and then they told me I wasn't on the list. So I was like, whoa, what do you mean? Like, yeah, you can't go on. There's only certain people allowed in there. So they put Hosami or Saba, whatever his name is, up in the press conference, and I wasn't invited in the building.
That's crazy.
And I was pissed. I swear, I was really pissed. But I was just like, I'm just gonna fuck him up like he owes me money,
So that added some fuel.
Yeah, it definitely did. So listen, I understand, but like I said, I got ego too, and too much ego to go down. But whatever. He lost after we talked about it the next day. He was cool, and it is what it is. When you're in the heat of the moment, especially when you lose, you say what you say. But I definitely heard him.
So what was the conversation like between you and Feldman and Connor? Did you talk to the bosses afterwards? Because the reason why I'm asking you this is I believe they had big plans for Sabah Hamasi, and they might still have big plans for Sabah Hamasi, but I think they had plans for him going forward in 2025 based on him winning his fight out in Dubai. Him and Brennan Ward have history. I think they were maybe trying to angle towards like maybe Brennan and him fighting in Mohegan Sun or somewhere like that down the line. But now that plan kind of like gets pushed to the side, and now you're bursting onto the scene. Are they talking to you about possibly giving you some more opportunities going forward that may have been in the plans for Sabah?
Yeah. So well, I kind of derailed his plans, no?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Listen, I talked to David after. I talked to Connor after. Connor was cool to talk to be honest. It was a little bit surreal, almost like someone manifesting it, But so yeah, we talked to him. David, the boss, he told me that he has some things planned for me. He said something that I was gonna be headlining soon, So I think they're gonna throw me right into the wolves. I think I earned it and I deserved it, I have 5 fights. I fought some of the best in the world champions back to back. My last 2 fights were 2 world champions back to back. I also got fight of the night in Thailand, the last fight I had as well. And I think I sacrificed myself enough to get somewhat of a decent payday, At least that's what I'm hoping for. As for Saba, he's popular, but to be honest, I'm kind of a little bit more famous than him now because I'm more relative now, and I actually have more followers than him on Instagram. And I have a big fan base back home in Canada and on the fight circus scene, and in Thailand, I'm actually quite popular out here too as well. So he did have like 2 badass cornermen his last fight. He had Dustin Poirier and Alex. What's his name again?
Thiago Alvarez, right?
Thiago Alvarez.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, that's cool. No wonder why they're pushing him, man. He's got 2 of the most badass guys in his corner.
Yeah.
But I got John Nutt. I got that crazy guy in the suit.
Yeah. Well, let's circle. Let's go off of that for a second. You mentioned fighting for Fight Circus, and for those who don't know what Fight Circus is, I would really urge you guys to get on YouTube and just search Fight Circus
when the show's
Do it tonight and watch Fight Circus. John Nutt is an evil genius, and those shows are out of control. Johnny Tello, can you tell us a few things about fighting on a Fight Circus card without getting anybody in trouble? Like, that shit is some of the most wild fight industry stuff that anybody will ever see. Talk a little bit about being on a Fight Circus card, please.
Yeah, so first time I got on a Fight Circus card, they invited me on this thing called the Most Dangerous Game Show. Actually, we're the pioneers of the card-jitsu. We're the first one to do it. It was a spin-off of a dating show. A girl picked a guy, and then they both had to jiu-jitsu in the car. And I fought on that day doing a foot and tire fight. So I fought in a tire, you know?
Yeah.
Nice. Yep.
We actually partied for like 4 days in a row, got drunk every night. I was still pretty drunk in the morning when we fought. I had a couple shots, and then I went in to do the fight, and it was actually pretty funny and entertaining. I'm not going to say it helped me anyway, again, being drunk for the fight, because I was exhausted after the first 30 seconds. But, yeah, since then, it's blowing up a lot. We've had producers come on, like the producer of what's it called? America's Next Top Model is part of the show now. Girls Gone Wild, The Real World, you know. So we have some big names pushing us up now. And me and John have been friends since then. And I help with the creative part of it. I helped them create a lot of things. So it's pretty much like just Jackass meets UFC, you know?
Right.
We do
stupid. Are any of the fights? Did any of the fight ideas come out of your brain, like the Siamese twin fights, or like the?
Yeah. You know, actually, I'm proud to say one of my proudest accomplishments of life was inventing the UDKC, the Ultimate Dick Kicking Championship.
Oh, god damn.
And those who haven't seen it, you should go on YouTube and look it up. It's got, I think, like almost 80 million views now. So
nice.
Yeah, but that was my baby. That was, yeah.
The UDKC.
Right? Ultimate Dick Kicking.
I was going to call it Power Sack, but he decided the UDKC. And when he got the T-shirt done, the UDKC, and then underneath Ultimate Dick Kicking, that was funny. That was like, okay, that's cool. But I like that.
Well, okay. Hold on. There's some people over on Instagram that are like Fight Circuit. So Fight Circus guys, like John Nutt will come out dressed like a ringleader, basically, and he will host this thing. And there's 2-on-1s, there's 3-on-1s, there's like Johnny just said,
3 featherweights versus a heavyweight.
There's a phone booth. They'll bring a phone booth into the ring. 2 guys will fight in a phone booth. They'll have Indian leg wrestling. They'll have midgets walking
2-on-2 where they wear a shirt. And one person can use their left arm and their left leg, and the other person uses their right arm and their right leg, and they fight 2 other people.
Yeah, I think it's the wheel of violence, where you spin the wheel, and whatever it lands on, you got to do that round.
Yeah,
like it's kicks only, or
elbows, spinning elbows only. Like
when I did it, it was first round MMA, second round spinning shit only, and then third round Muay Thai.
Yeah,
it's fucking wild, dude. It's awesome. And I always like when John's like, everybody give a shout out to our lady boy section over here, and all the lady boys stand up.
Yes. So you also headlined. So for people who have been around and watching BKFC and got the app when it first really started getting big, they had opened up the app to not just BKFC but other shows, and you headlined the first card that they let in from Thailand, which is basically it was called Bare Knuckle Kingdom, and I gotta say it's probably the best location I've ever seen for fights. However, I don't think that the weather was the best that day, because John Nutt sweated right out of his clothes. I mean, he was like completely soaked like 3-4 fights in. It was like on top of a hill. For those who haven't seen it, look this up. It was on top of a hill in Thailand. Beautiful. You could see the mountains and the hills in the background, water. Like, it was awesome. But it was also probably like almost 100 degrees.
No, yeah, it was really hot that day. Even when I fought Barry, like that day was in the same spot, and it was like, I think it was like 44 degrees that day. It was so hot. We fought at nighttime, but it was still like really, really hot.
With Bare Knuckle Kingdom, it started at like 8 a.m. in Thailand, right? Yeah. So they didn't really plan the fact that it was going to be like 120 degrees at noon when you guys are fighting.
Oh, the humidity must be awful.
I remember TJ Chang got like heat stroke or something like that day. People were falling out everywhere. It was
he got bitch stroke. That's what he got.
He got bitch. Yeah, that shit. You know what I remember the most about that is like that was the first time I really saw John Nutt like in the ring doing like ringmaster shit. I didn't know about Fight Circus at that time, so I watched.
It blew our mind.
It blew our mind. there was one fight where somebody busted open somebody's forehead and they had to stop the fight because of the cut. And John Nutt walks in the ring and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, Jesus Christ, this guy's got a fucking vagina on his face. He goes, don't worry, everyone. We'll fuck it all. We'll all line up and fuck it later on. We were all like,
yes. I was watching it going, holy shit, did he just say what I think he said? Oh, shit.
That was actually the first day I met John Nutt. That's how
really
contact. Yeah. I actually just I lost like a bunch of money through a crypto like Ponzi scheme, like almost all my money, and I was stuck in Thailand and I was like really desperate. I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do now? I need to find some way to make money or something. And at that time I was retired from fighting. At that time I was like hood rich and I was like, I'll never have to fight again. And I started like looking for fights online. And then I seen John Nutt, Full Metal Dojo, post about the bare knuckle show. And I was like, man, I've been in a lot of street fights. So I messaged them, and then my buddy was a friend of theirs, and then he vouched for me, and then they got me on the show. And actually, that one I fought a giant as well. That guy was like, he was like 6'8" or something like that. That guy that I fought on that show.
That's insane.
Yeah, knocked him out in the second round. So that was actually probably the best performance I ever done in my life. It was
up until now, right? I mean, you had to take a little bit of a beating in the first 2 rounds in order to burst onto the scene like a superstar at the end of that Dubai fight. But like now, everybody knows who Jonny Tello is. Because BKFC is the hottest thing in the world right now as far as combat sports go. And this 2-day extravaganza in Dubai. Next thing you know, everyone's talking about Jonny Tello and Sabah Hamasi fight of the night. It was unbelievable. We were freaking texting back and forth like crazy over here over that one. Couldn't believe it. We had to get you on here, man. Congratulations on a great fight. I hope they have big plans for you going forward because you're entertaining every single time you go out there. Your conditioning is great. And did you plan on dropping down weight classes now? Do you want to go down to 165?
I'm definitely dropping down to 76 kg, like 165, like maximum. You know, my last BKFC fight, I was walking around 80 kilos. So that's about about like 170, you know, and then they offered me a fight in 2 weeks notice at 86 kilos. So that was about like 186 pounds. And, I was like, they showed me who it was, and it was actually a guy that's very famous in Thailand for going to prison and fighting his way out of prison.
Yes.
I didn't know what it was for. I found out later he was a hitman. He killed like 12 people. So I was like, what the fuck? Only in Thailand, you know? Like I killed.
You can fight your way out though. That's fine.
Yeah. So so I said yes. So I had to gain like 16 pounds in like 2 weeks for that fight. So I ate all the burgers I could, you know, I tried to gain as much weight as I could. I got there, I won the fight, and then I gained another like 6 pounds, and then and then it was like I didn't lose it for a while. It was so easy to gain the weight and so hard to lose it. I was like, that's the last time I've been doing that stupid shit. But it was worth it because it got me this opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, Jonny, you are a true warrior, and we hope to see you back in there soon. I mean, like I said earlier in this interview, you look like you didn't even fight. You know, it was like 12 days ago. You were all swelled up. You had your eyes were all banged up. You look great right now. So it looks like you can go right away. Hopefully, they got some plans for you. Before we wrap up with you tonight, do you have anything you want to say to the audience or to anybody that's listening to the Brass or to any sponsors? Go ahead and take a minute.
Yeah, if David Feldman, if you're listening to this, I'm ready to go. I'm ready for a big opportunity. I'm ready to headline. I'm looking for that world title. That's what I'm sacrificing myself for the top of the top. I'm no journeyman. So I hope I get the opportunity to show what I can do even more and fight the best in the world.
There it is, man. You are a true entertainer and a badass in the bare knuckle ring. Hopefully we see you back soon. Thank you so much for coming on, and congratulations on your win and your fight of the night win there. Mike, do you have anything else for Jonny Tello?
Hey, thank you so much for coming on. Fantastic fight. I loved every second of it. Hey, stay tuned because guess what? You may be the recipient of a Mike and Mish bare knuckle award. I'll tell you what, because that's definitely going to be hard to beat for fight of the year. It's going to be on there. I can see it right now. So
thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, and can't wait to see what the future brings for you. Everybody else, stay tuned, because when we come back, we will be joined by the champ, Chris Camozzi. Adios, Johnny.
Later, Johnny.
Cheers, guys.
Take it easy.
To see the greatness that is Firenze, Italia.
What we doing live? Echoes of eternity.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. The reigning Cruiserweight champion, Chris Camozzi. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good. How you doing? I just came running in my house. It's been a busy day. I'm getting ready to leave tomorrow, so pardon me for being a little like, whew.
No, it's okay. You take your time. You do whatever you want. Chris, you're heading to Italy. You are defending your title. You are no longer fighting Lorenzo Hunt. We need to talk to you about this. Maybe you can correct me and Mike real quick. The new opponent. The new opponent. The new opponent. Pronouncing his last name, is it Beachy? How do you say Andrea's last name?
I believe it's Bicky.
Bicky. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've been on vacation. I haven't been paying attention. I know that they talked about it on the Bare Knuckle Show Tuesday, and they probably announced it, pronounced his name 15, 20 times on that show, and I would have seen it and heard it. But, I was in Mexico with the family having a good time. So we're back now.
Lucky you.
Yeah, it was cool. It was nice. My kids had a blast down there, and my wife too. And now we're back. So let's talk, Chris. Lorenzo's out. What do you got to say about this?
What's he got to say about it? The cut. I'll be shocked if there's a cut. We can say that. I mean, I know the truth. He popped again. He I don't know.
Listen,
how much energy do I want to waste on this?
Right.
You guys can call me psychic because I said this from the beginning. He wasn't going to be able to make it. I told BKFC that when they first approached me about fighting in Italy, they're like, all right, like we're looking at opponents, and I was like, cool, give me 1 through 5 because I thought Lorenzo was suspended. They came back Lorenzo. I was like, perfect, love it, because I want that one back. But isn't he suspended? And I think that they were in the dark as much as everybody else. But I would like to see. I know he watches this show. He's usually commenting. Every other time I've been on here, he's commenting. Lorenzo, post a picture cut with today's paper. We'll leave it at that.
Listen, everybody hears the rumors. What you just said is the rumor that's going around. And as far as the popping hot on another test, we don't know, but we've definitely heard rumblings on the internet and throughout the industry.
I know.
So if that's the case, do you think
because I got calls. Listen, I knew that he was subject to. All right, rewind. He said that he was never suspended. It was a false test. That's false. So Jeff Nowitzki called me after the press conference. Jeff Nowitzki, the head of USADA, who I know from the UFC, who used to test me all the time. His daughter was at the press conference. His daughter goes to school in Florence. And after the press conference, she came up to me and she was like, hey, my dad said that I should come say hi to you, that you know him, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, wow, who's your dad? She was like, Jeff Nowitzki. And I was like, no way. So his daughter told him everything I was saying at the press conference. And then he called me after and he's like, hey, Chris, so my daughter filled me in. Like, I don't follow bare knuckle too much. I'm busy, yada, yada. What is all this about? And I told him, I was like, this is a rematch. Yada, yada, yada. He's had these troubles, whatever. And he's like, well, now I'm intrigued. So he called Andy Foster and he called me back. And he goes, all right, well, I got you the scoop. here's the deal. He's suspended 100%. There was no fake test. There was no anything like that. He 100% failed. And then he cut a deal with California that he could fight me in Italy if he submitted to random drug testing, random VADA drug testing. I might even still have the message because he called me and then texted me. So the cut happens. And I'm like, all right, what is this? You know, now everybody saw his videos, right?
Yes.
Leading up to this. Did his body look different? Were his traps gone? Was his body like looking soft or no abs? Listen, I like Lorenzo as a person. I do. We're rivals, which is great. It's great for me. It's great for him. We're rivals. But just be honest, you know? Look at Chael Sonnen. When he popped for steroids in the UFC, was he not the quickest person? Everybody looked past it because he was
owned
like,
it.
he was like, I was taking everything under the sun, blah, blah, blah. When you deny it, everybody digs. You guys got to know this. Like, it's 100% true. It's not, I'm not making it up.
Well,
Have you
Lorenzo,
seen the cut? He posted
Only
a video.
Only the
Yes.
video. That's it.
I saw the cut. I saw him.
How big was his face in the video? Puffy face. I think that's an old video compared to the videos that he had been posting.
The one thing
I already know for a fact.
Yeah. The one thing that got me was him being put in the ambulance, and then it was like Rejuven, whatever the hell it was, the sponsor. And I was like, why would you post that? That for me, I was like, if it's a legit cut, why put a video up of being put into an ambulance with a cut? Like,
he deleted
I don't
my
know.
comment.
What's that?
He deleted my comment.
Yeah, you and Brandon Gertz too, I think.
Yeah,
So,
I commented on there. I said I don't buy it. I was like, who gets an ambulance for a cut? I would drive myself to the hospital. I have driven myself to the hospital to get stitches. I was like, who gets an ambulance for a cut? And I was like, which is it? You pop the test or you're going to fight in Russia because they offered you more money? Because I also have another inside story that he felt disrespected by coming back to this to fight me, that they offered him less money. And then I heard that Russia offered him a lot of money to come fight there. I heard that about a week before the cut. Now, I fought in Russia, and I saw guys literally injecting themselves in the locker room. Right when I left the UFC, I signed with ACA, and the commissioners were there. And in the locker room, some other guys, like some Brazilians from the UFC that we knew, that we'd been on cards together, were sitting there. And I saw these like Russian guys start like injecting themselves with all kinds of stuff. I don't know what it was. I don't know what would help you right before a fight. But I remember me and God, if I look back on the card, I'd remember his name. We looked at each other and we were like, what the fuck? Like, where are we? Russia
out in the open.
They encourage it. Oh, I mean, the technical like commissioner was standing in the door. I'm like looking back, like, and this guy like shoots up and starts screaming. So maybe that's the place for him. I don't know. Yeah, I'm salty, man, because I was pumped for this rematch. Again, like I said, I like him as a person, but it's just like I went through an entire camp. I spent a ton of money because he's a tough competitor, man. He's my toughest opponent. I will take nothing away from him. He's a great fighter. And I'm fucking pissed about it because I was like, we need to run this back. And then 2 weeks out. So yeah, I'm real fucking mad. Like I said, as a person, cool. We're cool. You guys have been with us. We hang out. We're good.
Yeah.
But as my rival, I'm like, come on, man. Like he took the spot of his suspension doesn't technically end or shouldn't have ended until October.
Yes.
You can verify all this. There's a Freedom of Information Act.
We put it out
California
on the show when it first happened. When he got suspended after Knucklemania, I did reach out to California, and because there were so many things flying around that we found out there was an 18-month suspension. He had to, so this month would be a year. He had to pass, I can't remember the exact amount of drug tests.
Like
it was 3 or 4. Was it 6? And it was out of his own pocket. He would have to pay for them out of his own pocket. And then so he actually decided
it was like a $40,000 fine too, right?
Yes. Yep. And he
So,
decided to appeal that. And this is why he got the maximum, because he decided to appeal first and he didn't show up to the appeal. And then they smacked him with that whole thing with the 18 months, the 40 grand. I had the email. I could look it up to make sure that that's the exact amount of money, and the piss test on him out of his own pocket. So when he started saying he got out, he told us in Florida, we're like, okay, maybe you did. And then they announced a fight and we're like, all right, cool. It's back on. He's back on and he's fighting Chris Camozzi. But now, obviously, in the last 2 weeks, all the stuff is going down and it's like, oh my God, Lorenzo. Like you said, we've known Lorenzo since a little bit before Knucklemania 1, even like probably BKFC 13, 14-ish. So like we like the guy. Like we've known forever, and it is a bummer. It's a massive bummer. So I can just imagine how you feel.
Yeah. I mean, like, you got to love him and hate him, right? Like if you're in my position, because the rivalries are cool. They're great for both of us. We make more money, everything. And again, like I said, he's a great competitor. He is my toughest fight in the sport. I will take nothing away from him. Nothing like that. It's just a bummer, man, that it was all the way down to the wire, because I was just grinding through training camp. I was like, I'm going to, like, no stone unturned. I'm going to do everything possible. And it was like, it was a cool lead up. You know, all the promos that Gabriel had, everything was awesome. I wish him nothing but the best. I don't know what happens from here. So I've made peace with it, and I got to look forward, right? Because there's a guy that they have across the ring from me, and a lot of people are shitting on it. But here's the thing: is like, you guys know very well, bare knuckle fighting, anything can happen, right?
Right.
There are no easy fights in this, and I have a guy that got a massive opportunity with nothing to lose. There's nothing more dangerous than somebody with nothing to lose. You guys are military guys, like that. It's pretty big motto.
It's Rocky 1, right? Isn't he from that? Like, it's his home. The fight is in his hometown. They lose the opponent that the champion was supposed to be defending his title against. So they pick a kid from the hometown to get a shot at the world championship. It's almost like it's exactly what the storyline of Rocky 1 is. So he's the Rocky, you're the Apollo, and he gets a chance to maybe shock the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. You know, I'm not here to bash Lorenzo. I wish him nothing but the best. You know, if we cross paths again down the road, awesome. I don't know if we will. I would love to. Yeah, I hope he gets it figured out. But the whole narrative of the cut, like, come on.
Can I ask you this? If it does come to light and like it becomes public knowledge, if they start talking about him failing another test, do you think he's done? Like, I don't know, because like if he was in an 18-month suspension and he popped again, doesn't that I don't know. You would know more than me. Did they like restart the suspension, or like how does that work?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
No.
I don't know. I don't know more than you, but I would say they gave him that time to clean his system. So they knew that it was in his system and it wasn't clean yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is like, I never asked for testing and I would have been fine if he didn't. So that sucks. All I wanted was the rematch.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe
Again,
it was a pico. Maybe it was a grain of salt in an Olympic
picto.
swimming pool.
Yeah,
The
there you go.
pictogram.
Yeah, what was it?
Good old John
Picogram?
Jones lore.
Picogram, right?
Yeah.
He kept
No,
calling
but I
it
mean,
pictogram.
like, he's got a great family. He's got I wish him nothing but the best because I can't dwell on it. I'm bummed that we don't get to fight again. That's all I'll say. I have no ill will towards him. It's just kind of like it irks me because if this happened 3 months ago, whatever, and it's not even the opponent, it's just I was hyped, man. I was hyped, and I think that like the fans were too.
Oh yeah, definitely were.
Now, let's just talk about the event itself. Like Gabriel, you mentioned Gabriel. Gabriel's awesome. Like we've talked with him a bunch of times. He actually asked me and Mike if we wanted to go out to Italy, he was like, "Don't worry about it. I'll get you guys out there." And unfortunately, dude, I don't know. It's like everything in our military career right now, nothing is fucking lining up with the BKFC schedule, and it's so hard
Hey, they're
for us
doing
to
a lot.
they're doing events every damn weekend, and it's like we're busy too, and unfortunately, we're not going to be out there. But you are going to be out there. They have been going balls to the wall for this thing, and Gabriel has been telling us about all these plans that he has. And it would have been cool to fight Lorenzo inside of this arena, but you are going to be fighting in like a badass arena in Florence. Like, you got to be pretty pumped about that. I don't know. Did you ever do anything like this with all your fights in the UFC? Was anything outdoors? Like, it is outdoors, right? Isn't it an outdoor arena?
I don't know if it is. That'd be awesome, though.
I thought,
I thought it was.
the way it looks.
So technically, no. I was booked to fight in, I think it was the first Abu Dhabi at the Ferrari Center. And so that was an outdoor fight. My opponent, Andrew Craig, got sick that week. He got food poisoning, so my fight was canceled at weigh-ins. So I went as a spectator because I was already in Abu Dhabi, and it was an outdoor arena in the desert at night, which you guys know. During the summer is not. It was unideal for the fighters. We'll say that. It was probably 103 degrees at night.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yes, definitely. During the winter time, if it was outdoors in the desert, it gets pretty fucking cold. But in the summer, no. And especially if it's between July and August, I don't. What time of the year was it? Do you know?
I think it was July.
Yeah, those are like the most humid times of your entire life will be in the Middle East during July and August. The worst. You sit in a puddle of your own sweat every time you sit down. It's fucking gross. And Evan Zentar is in the comment section. It is. He says it's indoors. So I thought it was an outdoor arena.
It looks like an outdoor arena because the outside of it almost looks like the Coliseum. So it has like, it looks like has no roof on it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for it. So I went to the press conference, was it a month and a half ago or so? And
yes,
we were talking about Gabriel. Like, I love that guy. I think that he is amazing. I know that he's kind of new to the fight game, but he is extremely on top of everything. He put on, when I went to the press conference, he goes, "This is going to be like something you've never been to before," and he was correct.
Yeah.
More than like the UFC's everything, like the launch party, just the service they'll
we're losing you here, Chris.
We're losing you, Chris.
I know I keep losing you guys. I got full Wi-Fi. I blame you guys. You're in Connecticut. No, but Gabriel, like, just the way he treated us. So Whitney and I, my fiance and I went out there for the press conference, and he had us like dinners booked because it was like during Valentine's Day. He booked us a tour of the city, the launch party. The people of Florence were amazing. The most polite people I've ever met in my life. Like, Connor was getting mobbed. We were walking down the street, and people are just coming in like mobbing, but nobody's like touching him, anything. They're literally mobbing and then lining up individually and being like, "Excuse me, sir, can I take a picture?" Like, the absolute most like wonderful people. I don't use the word wonderful very often. I'm sure you can imagine. And they were even coming up to me, and they would look at Whitney and be like, "Would you mind if we take a photo with him?" Just like,
really,
that's nice.
Just pure class, like very
That's
polite. Very cool. I wish you guys got to go.
Yeah, it would be definitely interesting because Spain was fantastic. So I can just imagine Italy. Like, that's got to be a dream come true, really, to be fighting out there and just hanging out with Conor McGregor, of all people, massive superstar. And now you're the champ, and so you're a superstar yourself, man. You've been a star for a long time anyways. But just to be in Italy and have that, you know what? To us, you are. This is probably what got us. Look at this. There's the promo. No roof. You see?
Is that the actual Coliseum or is that the arena?
No,
we're
it's
fighting
not.
in? I don't know.
it's neither. I don't think it's neither, but it looks like the place that you're fighting in because you can kind of see the side. But you know how the arena, how the Coliseum looks from the side? It's got all those, what would you call them? Tunnels or like big window, like I don't know what you would call them. But that's how the building looks where you're going to be fighting in. But except it's only like 2 floors instead of like
it's not
6
that.
or 7. You know?
Yeah,
It's
gonna be sick.
I gotta say,
it's
it's a cool experience for me.
Dude,
Go
I
ahead.
gotta tell you this, Chris. When they started releasing the fight posters of the guys
Oh
that
my
are
God.
on this damn card,
Yes.
there are some of the most wildly tattooed, psychopathic looking motherfuckers I think I've ever
This
seen
one
in my
right here.
life.
How about this one right here? What's this?
Oh no, that's not even one of them. There's a guy that has his entire face tattooed.
Yes,
It
I
looks like
know
prison.
exactly what you're talking about.
Do you have
It
that
looks
one?
like
Mike?
prison fights.
I'll get it. I had this one because that guy.
Yeah, the neck tat. The neck tat looks like you know what it looks like. Pull it back up.
Wait, put it back up. I didn't catch it.
Pull it back
Hold
up.
on. He's
So
wicked smart, this guy. Look at
that tat on his throat there. I don't know what that is, but it looks like he may
That
have
must
tried
be
to
some
cover something
Irish
up.
symbol.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying it looks like something
I'll
else.
get the other guy though. That other guy's got so many tattoos, his entire face is covered, but it's like he didn't like the tattoos he had or something, so he just covered it in all black. The whole thing. I was like, whoa, look at this guy. This guy's wild looking. He's got his whole face is covered, his chest, everything. I was like, damn.
I saw that, and then the
Shit.
but I think his tattoos are cool. The huntsman, the New Zealand guy.
Oh, yeah.
So him and his wife are amazing people, and like he is one of
that
the
guy's
most
great.
polite people ever, and they're just traditional tattoos. I'm excited. Like him and I are going to train together when I get out there. I'm leaving tomorrow, and just what a cool dude. Him, Rico Franco, James Sweeney, all of them. Like so, we were all in a group when we were there for the press conference. Just great dudes all around. Like it was a really cool trip, and for me, it's kind of full circle. So I know at the press conference, Lorenzo made fun of me. Like I'm just as Italian as him. So my grandparents immigrated here. So
His name is Lorenzo.
Yeah. So I'm second generation, right? And you guys will appreciate this. So my grandpa got his citizenship in Guadalcanal. So he joined the Marine Corps for the U.S. and went to Guadalcanal, and then that's how my family ended up here. But back then, it was more of you speak English. They don't teach you Italian. They would speak it around me all the time. I know maybe some cuss words and stuff, but other than that, I knew when I was being yelled at.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're like, you're an American. You learn this, which is a big thing in immigrant families. But I'm really proud of the fact because my grandpa had knife wounds across his stomach. He had been shot. He had like everything. You know, you guys have seen the show The Pacific, or you guys probably know more about
Guadalcanal. Is that was so Band of Brothers was the first series that come out. Then they did the Pacific, and that was all in Guadalcanal, and like that shit was fucking serious. And me and my dad were watching the Pacific with my grandfather. He was there too, and we're sitting there, and then like all of a sudden he's like, "Yeah, sometimes we'd bomb that shoreline for hours, and them fuckers just kept coming out of the trees." And me and my dad look over at my grandfather. We're like, "You were there?" Like, wait, what did we? He's never said that before ever. That shit is crazy, man. Anybody who doesn't know about Guadalcanal should check that series out. It's crazy.
Yeah, my grandpa used to tell me just like, I'm like, man, like I have so much respect for it. And that's why I'm very proud to be here in America, is because like what he went through is insane. You know, he told me that he was the guy that they made crawl into like the foxholes and everything with a pistol, not knowing if like Japanese gunners were in there, and just anything. He said you're kind of treated like trash because you're the immigrant. And then at night, he had to worry about being robbed by his own people, because back then you were given a choice of like go to prison or go to war. So
They call them tunnel rats.
Yeah.
Yep,
Right. The
exactly.
tunnel
Tunnel
rat.
rat.
You throw a grenade down there, and then you go down there with like a rope tied around your waist and kill everybody that didn't die from the grenade.
Yep.
Right. That shit is
yeah.
wild. They were
It
doing
is
that in
wild.
Vietnam too.
Because you don't know how many people are in there. So you're going in there by yourself, hoping that this grenade maybe hit everybody. You could be fighting 7, 8, 9, 10 people. You don't know. You're just going in there. Just go for it.
Yeah.
They pull you
Yeah.
back out.
So it wasn't me, obviously, but just the fact that the things that he went through so that I could live the life that I have means a lot to me. I wish he was still here and that I could like fly him there to go back. It's really cool for me. I'm getting chills right now talking about it because I just remember being a kid and like talking about stories and it's very cool.
The fact that he's survived, like that's some crazy shit for him to live through that. And he was like, you were a kid and he was still alive, right? Like you spent time with your grandfather, right? So
yeah, he died when I was in high school.
Right. So you must have thought that he was the coolest fucking dude ever. I felt the same way about my grandfather. My grandfather came here. He was Ukrainian and his family came to the United States and he ended up in the Navy and going to war as well in World War II. And but then after the military, he became a farmer. And I would always spend time down at the farm, and I thought he was the coolest fucking guy ever. He's missing a finger, you know what I mean? He's just like this badass little Russian bald dude. And I feel the same way you did. Like he was like the coolest man I ever met in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're running out of people like that anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Back then, guys were defending our country and going to war at 17 or maybe even younger, and nowadays they can't figure out if they're a man or a woman. You can cut that out so we don't get banned, but
Nah, leave it.
it's a lot different.
Never cut anything out.
I just have a ton of respect for it, so it's a really cool opportunity for me to go back. Now I'm fighting an Italian guy. Before, the story was cooler because I was fighting Lorenzo and I'm like, man, this is my heritage. Yada yada, but I mean, it's still my heritage no matter what. If I'm fighting an Italian guy that's more Italian than me, it doesn't matter. It means something to me.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be another extravaganza. I'm sure you saw what they did in Dubai. BKFC, when you signed with the BKFC a couple of years ago, did you maybe you did, but did you see it going maybe did you see it growing to the heights that it is all like as fast as it has? You know what I mean? Like you were on BKFC 41 and so was Gertz, and you guys were there when Chael was there and Connor showed up and but Connor wasn't part of the business yet. He didn't buy into it. He showed up to watch. That was a big night for the company. It was the biggest night for the company to date at that time. And you were kind of like one of the first big names from the UFC to come into the company. And now, 2 years later, when you signed, did you think that it was going to skyrocket the way it did? Or have you just been happy to go along with the ride like this?
I mean, a little bit of both. I got into it knowing that it would be big. So, I've said this quite a bit, but here's the deal with BKFC. So with the UFC, you guys are fight fans. I'm sure you followed it from the beginning. The UFC, when it started, nobody knew what grappling was. Nobody knew what jiu-jitsu was, anything. So the UFC really had to do a ton of marketing. They had to do a ton to educate the fans, because you have to, in order to be successful, you have to teach the fans about the sport, right?
Right.
Because nobody wants to watch something that they're not educated in. I don't watch cricket because I don't know the rules. But it's the biggest sport in the world. So the UFC back in the day literally had to make sure that they did all this side marketing, to promote jiu-jitsu, to do this, to do that, and just not give you some boring instructional, but they had to make it exciting and make sure you knew what was going on. And to the point it is now, a lot of people, even if they don't do jiu-jitsu, they know what a Kimura is. They know what a fucking rear naked choke is, a guillotine. They know all these because they're fans of the sport, and it's slowly educated them. You don't have to educate anybody on a bare knuckle boxing fight. Everybody knows who's winning or who's losing for the most part. There might be the outliers. There's a few that people don't know, but it's in our human nature, fighting. So everybody can jump in. There's no rules that you have to learn. You know, there's a couple, but I mean, the average person can literally turn it on day one and be like, man, that guy's getting his ass kicked. They just know. No education needed, so it simplifies it. So for the promotion, when I first saw it, I was like, man, this, I really did think it was going to blow up. I didn't know that it would get legalized everywhere. And I think Feldman has done an amazing job at legalizing it. And I've told him that I would like to be a part of it because I would like to really promote the sport. Not to shit on anybody, but like you were talking about, the one guy with his like entire face tattooed. If you do bare knuckle boxing, that's what people think it would be. That's what people expect.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so I told Feldman, I'm like, man, like I would like to really be a part of this and help it grow. Like I will show up in a suit. I will be very like professional. Not to say that that guy's not professional at all. I'm just, you know, appearances matter when you're going to, if you're trying to get legalized and you have to go to like Senate or Congress or anything like that, like the UFC used to have to do. Sometimes you got to jump through the hoops to make people know that you're serious.
Politics and everything.
Yeah, and we all know politics is a dirty game, but yeah, it's just it's great to see what they've done and run with it. And I think partnering with Connor, I love the fact that Connor gets credited as the owner of BKFC. He's part owner, and I actually, I'm sure you guys have noticed this. Feldman has no ego about it.
Yes,
Right.
He never steps in and is like, no, he's not the. I'm the owner. He's part owner. It's a good working relationship because at the end of the day, it's just growing the sport, and it does make them both more money.
Right.
The props to Feldman for like, you know, having his ego strong enough to let Connor be kind of like the limelight, even though he's the one that literally started it.
Right. He seems to know how to deal with. Connor's a tough guy to deal with. Like he is fucking larger than life, and the definition of larger than life, that guy is it, you know what I mean? And Dave does do a great job, you know, letting him do his thing even when they're in the ring together. And like normally Dave would put the belt around somebody's waist or something like that. He has no problem letting Connor do that stuff, you know what I mean? It is very cool to see.
Yeah,
And
it makes sense. They know exactly what their roles are. Dave's the
Right.
president, and now he's the face. That's just the
And
way
it's-
it's got to be.
And that doesn't happen a lot, you know, because
Right.
egos get in the way. But I mean, I think
Yes.
Feldman handles it really well, like very professional, and just it's very tactful. And I don't think a lot of people recognize that or give it the credit that it's due. But Connor's star power is insane. So my background, even before, for a very long time, like I worked for government contractors. I've done security things for a very long time, and I've done executive protection for some of the biggest celebrities in the world. Like I'll tell you guys off air, but I have never seen somebody with the star power that Connor has.
It's
Ever.
It's tiring, just like watching it. I'm like, I don't know how this guy does this every day of his life. Like he's got to escape because
That's why he
you
spends-
cannot just do that all the time. It's crazy.
I think it's why
It's
he spends
crazy.
so much time on his yacht. Like he's always out on his yacht because people can't get to him when he's out on the water. When we were in Spain,
Imagine all the boats that are around him, though. If you look, there's probably boats following him, taking pictures and shit. You know,
Always.
when we were in Spain, Chris, he was
binoculars.
he had his yacht and his Lamborghini boat like docked right there. He would have 150 people just standing on the dock.
Just standing there.
They had it roped off like where his boat was. They would just stand there all fucking day, just stand there
hoping
with
he
their
comes
phones
out.
out. Just hope to see him. You know what I mean? It is really wild to see. And like when we were in Miami and they did the BKFC after party at Dare, we're like walking and like Connor's walking and there's just like this like a swarm of bees of people all around him all the way. And Mike and I were like walking in the back of the group, just letting that go ahead of us. And people were like asking us, like, who is that? Who is that? And I'm like, it's Conor McGregor. And they're like, oh, the one guy was like, oh, you would have thought it was Justin Bieber. I'm like, yeah, he has that kind of star. Like he's a fighter, but he has that kind of star power. It's wild to see.
That's what I'm saying is like Yeah, I mean, I like A-list. Like I've done it for a long time. I mean, I've shut down Louis Vuitton stores, Gucci stores, everything. You know, the call ahead, like so and so is going to come. The most like elite people you could think of, and those people did not have the same star power. Like Connor has transcended sport.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh,
not sport; it's lifestyle. Like I mean, I've met 70, 80-year-old women that like have heard the name Conor McGregor, and they don't watch fights. I don't know how that happens because I think that that's like an anomaly. How do you
Right.
transcend sport, you know, like Ronaldo or David Beckham or whatever? I'm sure it's a ton of marketing, but it's also like some people just have that like it factor to literally transcend sport into lifestyle
yep.
to where people that don't even watch the sport or anything else know who that is. And I
Wait,
have never seen anything like him, even when we were in Florence, because I've met Connor in other places and hung out with him, and just like over the years to when we were in Florence, I was like, this is insane.
right. You would think that. So you remember that video that came out where he like slapped that phone out of that dude's hand in Florida and then like stomped his phone, right? Like he did
Yeah.
that. I tell people I can't believe he hasn't done that 1,000 fucking times
Yeah. Right.
because
Right.
the amount of like full grown men that full grown adults that'll just like run up and like stick a camera in that guy's face. Like I don't know how I would act. I feel like I'd be slapping phones out of people's hands constantly because it's like he does a really good job with the fans. Like he does a great job with the fans, and and when you were out in Florence, did he like was he taking pictures with people? Because from what we've seen, he's pretty cool with like taking pictures with fans and stuff.
Oh
As
yeah,
far as
he was enjoying it, man. Like I I remember telling Whitney about that. I was like, look at like this guy, he's not sick of it yet. Um and props to him, he has a really good security team and everything. When we were at the launch party,
Yes.
I remember he came,
I
we were
know
all
all their
eating.
faces, exactly who they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, he came later, and when he came in, he was sitting over next to us, and or the next table over. And so after I ate, I walked over and I grabbed him behind the neck, you know, but by the back of his neck, because I hadn't seen him in a bit. And his security came and they like grabbed my arm, grabbed me, and they're like, "Don't do that." And he like turned around and he was like, "Oh no, it's fine." But even when I did grab him, he didn't like whip around. He was just like
he
he
knew
had no
somebody was
problem
going to
with it.
handle it for it. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean he just like he hasn't.
He didn't get
I don't
mad.
want to say he hasn't reached that asshole level because he should have by now.
Oh yeah.
He was loving taking pictures with people, like with kids, everything. You know, so I will credit him for that because it's exhausting. I don't know
It is
personally,
so
but I know
exciting.
that it's exhausting for them.
Yeah.
So when we were out in Sturgis, maybe it was the crowd. Maybe it was like that culture just don't fanboy out about people. They were really like we went to the Sturgis bike rally and Connor came out there and that was the first time they like introduced him as like part owner. And he came out and then he was ringside. And then afterwards he went to the grunt style after party and he was just like right there in the mix on the dance floor and nobody really fucked with him that bad. We were like,
Yeah.
and maybe it's
People were
just like that
walking around
biker.
watching him and stuff, but they weren't like getting in his face and
They
getting
weren't
crazy. They kind
swarming
of
him. They
allowed him to
weren't
do his
being,
thing.
yeah, they weren't being obnoxious. Like they were like, wow, that's what I mean, it's Conor McGregor, and people were getting pictures with him. But we did see that out in Sturgis, like they handled them. You should go out to Sturgis, Chris, after you fight in Florence. Go defend your title against Brian Atchison in fucking
Yes.
Sturgis, August 2nd. What do you think about that? You
So
can see that crowd.
if it pays, I'm there. Man, I threw Brian's name out. I threw Mohawk's name out. I threw everybody's name out. And just rounding back, that's why I DM these guys because I feel like here's the deal. I'm not trying to make myself sound like the like golden child or anything, but for the longest time I have chased titles and everything, and knowing that like somebody gets the opportunity off of what, Lorenzo was a former champion, but he fucked up. So when they asked me, like, we want you on Italy, Gabriel was like, I want you on the card. Who do you want to fight? not that he was going to let me pick, but I said, pick 1 through 5. Let's honor the rankings. Atkinson, I messaged him. Mohawk, I messaged him. Everybody. And, going back and forth. And I said, hey, throw your name in the hat. Like I'm saying 1 through 5, 1 through 5. Anybody. Because the point of the rankings is those guys deserve it.
Right.
Those guys deserve it. And since then, I mean, even today, I was like, man, because I saw some comments on the post, like, they didn't call me anything. And we're all cordial, because I'm an honorable person. Like, I will fight any of them because that's my duty. Like, that is my job. If I want to be champion, I need to fight any of them. If I don't want to be champion, then I don't have to fight them.
Right.
But the rankings are there for a reason. And I think that Lorenzo screwed everybody in the division by accepting that fight, taking it. Like Mohawk, he messaged me like, I've been trying to get this fight forever. And I was like, man, I'm sorry. I even sent him the messages. I was like, I'm sorry. I threw your name in there. Like everybody. I didn't like say, give me whoever you could find. I mean, I did at the end for the replacement. I said, anybody you can find so I can stay on the card. But in the beginning, I said 1 through 5. I don't want somebody unranked, whatever. Even Atkinson, he's a lot louder. Yada, yada, yada. He's a tough fight. All of them are tough fights. I told them all afterwards. I messaged him and I said, don't be mad at me because of the replacement. Be mad at Lorenzo because he took the opportunity from all of you guys and fucked it up. I was like, though you guys weren't offered to me as a replacement. Initially, you were offered, and I said any of them. So,
Right.
because I do get some hate online about like, oh, so now you're going to fight this guy that nobody's ever heard of. And I don't want to take anything away from him, man. He's a tough motherfucker that like has balls to step up, and I'm sure other people did. It just didn't work out. But don't be mad at me for it.
Right.
Because
it is what it is.
Somebody else took that opportunity from you guys and wasted your time.
And it could have been just a logistics thing too. You know what I mean? Like he's already there. He's already there. He was already on the card, right? Wasn't he supposed to be fighting somebody else on that card, Andrea?
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. To clear that up, I think any of those guys would have done it.
Right.
Logistically, everything else, like it just lined up that he gets it.
Right. That's why I say, man, timeline wise, I feel like you're about to fight in April. I would imagine you would like to stay active. You go out there and you come out victorious, and you still have that title. August is right there, right? Are you do you have your eyes set on any other time frame for 2025? You want to defend this thing 2 or 3 times?
Oh, absolutely. I'm only getting older. I am trying to squeeze the juice out of this whole career, right? I'm 38. We just found out that I had to do more medicals today. They just notified me today I'm leaving tomorrow that I had to do a MRI, EKG that got missed because I'm 38. That's why I was late. I've spent my entire day since 8 a.m. running around to do last minute medicals because they didn't realize that I was 38. I've been in this 20 years, man. I'm old. I'm not too old. Like I love it. I love fighting, and I'm gonna do it as much as I can, as fast as possible. So yeah, I'm not trying to do one fight next weekend and then sit the rest of the year. It's not fair to those guys either. The fact is like now like that just took a ton of months off of like those guys. Everybody's waiting,
Yeah.
And they all deserve it. Even there's Mohawk and Tomahawk. Get them mixed up sometimes, but like all those guys, man, they're all tough as fuck. They're all great fighters, and I would love to fight any of them.
I hope you do. I hope on this show we've talked about the rankings all until our freaking gums bleed. It's fucking and it sometimes it blows our mind that they even have rankings because they just do stuff completely out of nowhere. Like and no offense to Tommy Stridham, just the other day Kai Stewart fought Tommy Stridham. Like Tommy Stridham was 4-0, fought 4 unranked guys, two of them were debuters or whatever. It was like, why would they do that when the number one ranked guy in his division is fighting on the same card? Like, doesn't make any damn sense. So honoring the ranking system, I wish they would really get on that, and I hope they do going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't fault them for that either. It's they've gotten their notoriety by like the exciting fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
After this, I'll send you the message I sent Mohawk because he was like, man, nothing but respect, but I want that fight. And I said, hey, man, I don't take any of it personal. The closed mouth doesn't get fed. Like, you know, if they want you to be chirpy, they want you to speak up, then do it. Like, I don't care. It doesn't mean I don't feel like you hate me, whatever. It doesn't matter if I do. It's a fight, you know? My teammate Marcus Edwards is fighting tomorrow. Yeah. I have known Marcus forever, like since he was an amateur. Like that's my boy, and like I don't know if he's ranked or not, but if he beats Dakota Cochran, he better get the next title shot. Dave Mandel keeps asking to fight me. I'm like, you're 2 weight classes below me. I can't even respond to that because then I'm just like, should I call out John Dodson too? Like, I can't even respond to that because it's not fair. I'm like, you're tiny.
Right.
I don't care how much you blow up to in between. I'm fucking way bigger than you. And I'm not going to take that opportunity away from my boy either, because I know that Dave Mandel wanted his hat thrown in the ring for this fight, which I would have been fine with, but I cannot respond to you or call you out because who calls out somebody in a lower weight class? That's your job.
It would just look bad. Yeah, it wouldn't look good for you for sure, calling out a 175er. Yeah,
that was my response. I said, if you get it done, great. I'll fight whoever. But you're not going to get me to say it. And it's not because I don't want to fight you. It's because that's a no-win situation for me. I'm calling out a guy that's fucking tiny.
I didn't even know that. Like I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that Mundell wanted to fight you. That's news to me. I mean, maybe because I haven't been paying attention the last week and a half. But was that a public thing or no?
No, it wasn't. It was like we have mutual friends. They're like, hey, he wants to know if you'll fight him at 200. And I was like, man, I don't know. Like, do I need to? Why would I cut more? I'm not chasing after anybody smaller than me. If you want it, you can come get it. But at the same time, it does nothing for me. You know.
Hey, going back to Mohawk, can I ask you this? Have you ever had any, besides messaging back and forth with Mohawk, have you ever had any interactions with him in person?
No.
Like, that dude's energy is like
through the roof.
Next fucking level. He is like the most hyperactive dude I've ever met in my life.
Yes.
He's actually hilarious. And we ran into him in Philly at Knucklemania. And I'm about to do an interview because we hadn't seen him in a while, and he was going through some medical stuff. And we're like, yeah, let's do an interview, man. We gotta catch up and see where you're at. He's about to do an interview with us, and he notices like a fight break out in the crowd over here. He goes and like gets involved and breaks up the fight, and then comes right back and gets right back into the interview. The dude's just absolutely hilarious. He's and I know he fought Keegan. Keegan's one of your boys too, right? Keegan Vandermeer.
Yeah, he trains with me.
Yeah, so
he seems like he's full of energy, but I'll pull that plug too if he wants to fight me.
Yeah. That's all. Yeah. I hope you do, Chris. And we don't want to take too much of your time. When do you fly out? And who else is making the trip with you? Obviously, Whitney's probably going with you, but are you bringing a bunch of people since this is kind of a big one out in Italy?
Yeah, I've got a crew coming as spectators. As far as coaches, I got my coach Jake, who's with Marcus right now. That's all I need, man. I don't need too many people in boxing like MMA. You know, with the UFC, you need your like wrestling coach, your jiu-jitsu coach, everything. Jake can take my hands. He can run the corner fine. I got a videographer flying in from Ireland who I met at Connor's gym years ago. So he's going to do fight week stuff for me. His name's JC, and Whitney and Jake. And I still have an open corner spot. I don't know. I might throw a buddy in there. I got some buddies coming. I've got people flying from the U.S. out there as spectators, and I'm like, man, you want the coolest experience? Even the dude that owns the brokerage that I work for, his name's Brandon Langwitz. He's one of my like best friends now, and I work for him. Him and his wife are coming out, and I was like, man, I might give you the best experience ever. You could come, just be in the corner. And he was like, well, I don't know what I'd do. And I'm like, I don't need you to do anything. That's the thing. You could just sit ringside. We'll see. I'm leaving it open because you never know what like opportunities will come up, and maybe somebody gets a. I might meet a random person that has a cool story in Florence, and I'll be like, "You want a corner pass?" We'll see.
Well, I'll tell you right
Right.
now, Chris, if they do Italy anything like they did Marbella, Spain, that was a next level red carpet affair. People I don't know what this one's going to be like in Italy, but I know how Gabriel thinks, and I think this thing's going to be next level. And in Spain, all the floor level seats, everybody was like dressed to impress. Everybody was
Oh,
in
yeah.
suits or tuxedos. All the
With
women
bow
were in
ties and
dresses, bow ties. They all
red
the women
carpets.
looked. Yeah, they had red carpet everywhere. They had tables. It was all you can eat and all you can drink for everybody sitting at the tables all night
It
in
was
Spain.
awesome.
So if it's anything like that in Italy, yeah, your friends are about to like experience something next level. Because Mike
It's
and I
gonna
were
be
out
like that.
there covering it as media, and like we're just walking around. We're doing our interviews all night, but we're just like taking it all in, and we're just watching. It was unlike any other event I had ever seen in my life, and we've been to a ton of them. Yeah, I hope it's something like that for you guys in Italy, because it was really something. It was really something to freaking download and remember from the rest of our lives.
I think it will be. I mean, you guys saw you saw the press conference, but you didn't get to see even just the presentation of the press conference in Florence.
Yeah.
Gabriel had old Renaissance guys with trumpets and stuff when we walked in that weren't even on camera.
Oh,
Like
okay.
every time you walked in, everything raised. If you walk back out, dropped. I wanted to like kind of run back and forth just to see if they would continue to do it.
They probably would. They
No,
probably would.
it was amazing, and yeah, I can't wait to see what he does with the actual event because the press conference was insane.
Yeah. I feel safe guaranteeing that is going to be equal to or probably greater than, because that's his place. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna he's gonna knock it out of the park with that place. Holy
Yeah,
shit, I can't even imagine.
I told everybody coming, I'm like, most of them have not been to Europe. A few of them have been to Europe and Italy. I was like, but I think this will be a completely different experience altogether, just because of like how they treat you and like the class of it, everything, the whole show. So again, shout out to Gabriel. I love that dude. I will fight for him any day of the year.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He is something special, and if you guys don't know who he is, you'll notice him. For the fans of the BKFC, he's like the bald guy with the beard and tattoos that's like been hanging around in the ring lately on the European shows.
Yeah,
you guys might not know who Gabriel is, but I think you will very soon if he's not a common name in in your guys' life yet as BKFC fans. He will be soon because he's putting on massive shows for them.
You see him a lot lately handling Mike Perry's tequila. He's the one who helped him put that together,
Yeah.
So you'll see him, you'll see him with the commercial, making the commercials, all the fancy commercials and stuff. Yeah, man, I don't know how that guy does it, but he does it. He's all over the place.
Yeah, that's another one. Everybody's like, why don't you fight Mike Perry? I'm like, I cannot call that guy out. He's fucking way smaller than me. I don't care if you fought Luke Rockhold, but after this, I'll be the real king of violence. You'll see.
I love it, Chris. I wish we could be out there. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. And sorry about the shit that happened with your opponent, but you know what? I believe this is going to be a memorable experience one way or another for you out there in Italy. Appreciate you coming on. Safe travels tomorrow, and best of luck in Italy. Do you have anything else you want to say to anybody?
No, I appreciate it. And you don't owe me any apologies. There's only one person that owes me an apology. And they were able to find me an opponent. The show goes on. I'm happy to stay on the card. I can't wait to get to Florence. And I appreciate you guys for having me on. I wish you guys could make it.
Yeah, I wish so too. Mike, do you got anything else for the champ?
Yeah, we wish we could be there, but you know what? We'll meet up once again at Tom's Watch Bar in Denver. I can feel it now. I already know. I can see into the future. We'll be there once again. You'll be headlining another card probably out there. I can see it. So, Hey, man, safe travels. Good luck. We'll see you soon. Everybody else better be paying attention because it is on 26 April. Camozzi versus Bicky, right? Bicky, is that what you said? Bicky.
Bicky.
Franco versus Sweeney. BKFC 73 in Italy. Gabriel's going to knock it out of the park. We already know that. No doubt in my mind that that's going to be absolutely fucking insane. So, hey.
Franco and
take it
Sweeney
easy.
is going to be insane.
Yes, it is. It's
3 times.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 legends in the sport that have done it twice already, and this is the rubber match. I mean, we talked to Sweeney, and Sweeney said, hey, I didn't have any interest in fighting him anymore, but we did do it twice, and we're 1-1, so let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, before we leave, I got to say, like, at the press conference, every single time in the van, it was those 2 guys and their wives, me and Whitney. The entire time, and Whitney was like, wait, they fought each other? They're fighting each other? I was catching up on the history. I'm like, yeah, this is the rubber match. And she was like, they're all so nice. Like, they were literally them and their wives. Sweeney had his 2 kids, everything. And you would have thought they were like best friends forever, but literally getting ready to fight each other.
Yeah.
It is a crazy dynamic between them 2 for sure. And they're both like the most soft-spoken, nicest guys ever too. It's crazy
100%.
it's crazy that like freaking Jimmy Sweeney's got his record says like whatever it is, it's like 24-2 or 24, but he came on here and was like, no, I really have 35 or whatever. He's like, I'm 34-2 or 30. We're like, you have 30 something fucking bare knuckle fights. It's goddamn insane.
Yeah, can I tell you about that real quick though? Because I asked him, I said, hey, where are you from? And he goes, depends on who you ask. And I was like, what? When I first met him. And he goes, you ever seen Snatch? He's like, I'm a traveler. And I was like, okay, yeah, I've seen that. And he goes, I've been doing bare knuckle fights since I was a kid, and like just nothing about it. He's just like, yeah, this is like normal life for me. I was like, just stone cold killer.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's my life. He's like, where I'm from depends on who you ask. I travel. I'm like, man,
it's a wild.
It was cool.
life.
It is cool. It's really cool. It's the history behind bare knuckle fighting is very interesting. I don't know how much like now that you're a modern bare knuckle fighter. Like the history of bare knuckle fighting is so interesting.
Especially the travelers. For the people that have never heard of this, is it called Knuckle? The documentary? It's just called Knuckle.
Yes.
And it's about the gypsy travelers and these 2 families that have been fighting for decades. And James Quinn McDonough was like considered the greatest traveler of all time when that movie was made. And you guys go ahead and watch that. We're giving homework assignments out tonight, Mike. We told everybody, make sure you look up Fight Circus and watch that crazy shit.
Fight Circus. Chris Camozzi needs to watch Fight Circus if he hasn't seen it.
I've talked to them.
Yeah, you people at home got to watch Fight Circus, but also look up the documentary called Knuckle and check out the life of the traveling gypsies, man. They're fucking crazy.
And look up the history of Teddy Roosevelt and bare knuckle boxing. Do you guys know that?
I do.
No, I don't think I do.
I don't think so. He was a bare knuckle boxer
on the White House lawn.
No way.
He used to fly in people so that he could fight them on the White House lawn, bare knuckle boxing. He lost his vision from it. Yeah, that's my favorite president. I've read all of his biographies. He lost his vision in one eye from his buddy who he bare knuckle boxed on the White House lawn.
Get the fuck. I didn't know anything about that. Now that's my homework assignment tonight. I'm going to look that shit up for sure. That is awesome. Thanks, Chris, man. It's been a great talk with you again. Like we said already, best of luck in Italy and enjoy yourself out there, man. It's going to be great. And thank you so much for always giving us some of your time.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to go pack now.
Yes, go pack. Everybody else, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Later, Chris.
Later, Chris.
See you guys.
We talked about power. There it is. When he hits you, he does damage. Reed punches going forward, straight right hand, and down goes Noah Carter. Right hand now from Jay Jackson. Edwards with the left hand, another left hand. Jackson is down. Wow. I mean, this guy is so difficult to deal with. Big left hand from Derek Finley. Clean on the knockdown. Fed wants to get inside and make this a dirty rough fight. Gets sent back.
That's tomorrow night, Omaha. Tonight, we had two great conversations, Mike. I always like talking with Chris, and it was good to meet Jonny Tello tonight. Fantastic show, and it's good to be back. What'd you think about that?
It was awesome. And I can't wait to look up this Teddy. I already started searching Teddy Roosevelt right as soon as he said it. I searched. Man, I saw right away. Fact check. Theodore Roosevelt's eyesight was permanently damaged by a military aide during a boxing match, and it says it's true.
Wow. I
How
never
about
knew
that?
that. That's awesome. Do you want to know something about me, Mike? And somebody mentioned it. And Ben just did it again. Kyle, tell them how you got the Stew Nod of the Week award. Okay. So recently, I've been dealing with lots of pain in my shoulders. I'm actually getting MRIs on both of my shoulders next week, but actually 2 weeks from now. But anyways, earlier today, I take Aspercreme with lidocaine and I put it all over both of my shoulders, right? Because they're fucking killing me. And I put the rest on my chest because I had some leftover on my hands. And you know what I didn't do? Wash my hands. So about 5 minutes later, my son comes over and he's got this big thing of animal crackers, and he sits down on the couch next to me, and we're watching TV, and I start eating animal crackers. Next thing you know, my lips were completely fucking numb, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with my mouth right now? Like, I didn't know.
Anakin, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
I didn't know. Like, my bottom lip felt like I couldn't feel anything in my bottom lip. Sure enough, my phone rings and it's Big Ben. Big Ben calls me up. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? So he's talking to me and he's asking me about things and whatever. And I was like, you know what I just did? I can't believe I'm like talking to you right now and I can't feel my lips.
Can't believe you're telling Ben's gonna call you out on the show.
Yeah, Ben's like, you fucking idiot. He's like, you are the Stew Nod of the Week for sure. Yes. So there you go. If you're gonna put any kind of muscle rub with lidocaine on you, make sure you wash your hands afterwards, and especially do not eat any food. There it is. I am that guy. Yeah. Unbelievable. What a fucking asshole. Yep. But good news. It wore off and I got feeling back in my face.
Nice.
So
Yep.
I am that guy. So anyways, yeah, great to be back. Good show tonight and tomorrow night, guys. There is a sneaky good card out in Omaha.
Let me
tomorrow.
pop this up on the screen, and I had to zoom in. Apologize for the graphic, but I had to zoom in because I could not read it earlier. So here we are. The graphic was just so small. I was like, I can't do this. I did cut off the main card because we know what it is.
Yeah, you
know
got
what it is.
Marcus
You know what it
Edwards and you got Dakota Cochran in the main event. But dude, the return of Bryce Henry fighting Derek Finley. Derek Finley has been kind of surging in the sport of bare knuckle after having a rough start. Tons of boxing experience in Derek Superman Finley, and that's going to be a nice return fight for Bryce Henry. He's been away too long. You got crazy white boy going in there against Dionisio Ramirez, and he's the underdog, which surprised us. You know what I mean? The Brandon Meyer fight has fallen off the card. That is, I don't know if that's breaking news or whatever, but his opponent came in, I don't know, too heavy, and they couldn't come to an agreement, and the fight is gone. But that's okay because we got Ramiro Figueroa against James Brown. That's not even being talked about. James Brown, top 5 fighter, really great, really, really good fighter. Awesome MMA fighter. That's one that is under the radar. I think people should be talking about that one. Alonzo Martinez, I want to say he's 3-0, could be 4-0, but I think he's got all knockouts in his wins. That's another one to keep an eye on. Sarah Shell returns. I mean, this is a fucking good card, man. You got the return of Galacta Girl. What do you think about this, Mike? I don't know. I think this is like one of those sneaky, under the radar, good fucking cards. They did a good job again.
Yeah, this card's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely bummed out about the Brandon Meyer because his knockout at Knucklemania 5 had me hyped up, and I wanted to see him come back. He was the underdog for this fight. You know, you can't get no respect. You know what I'm saying? Give the guy some respect, will you?
You know what's crazy, Mike? We are in April right now, and you had mentioned to Johnny Tello earlier that his fight will be on our award show at the end of the year for sure, a nominee for Fight of the
I
Year
would think
without
so.
question.
There's lots
I
of them,
think, I think
but
there,
I think so.
I think he's in there. I think he's going to be in there at the end of the year. But you just mentioned the Brendan Meyer knockout. There have been so many insane knockouts in the first
Yes.
4 months of this. That heavyweight knockout in Dubai, the big Brazilian dude knocking out Alexei Olenek?
Yes.
The boa constructor? Dude,
That was
that was crazy. Jessica Borga knocking out freaking Hannah Rankin. Crazy. There are
that was nuts.
There are
Nuts.
so many insane knockouts right now in 2025 that you and I are going to have a hard time narrowing it down to 5 freaking nominees. It is going to be damn near impossible. We might have to have 25 fucking nominees for that goddamn that category. It's
Yes, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot, and
dude,
people are going to be mad.
the small show in Philly that we just went to, the 2.9 second knockout. Justin Watson was this year, right? Wasn't Justin Watson's 3-second knockout earlier in the year? I think both of those knockouts were this year. It's just fucking crazy, dude. This sport's awesome. The knockouts have been insane. The cards have been great, and I think it's just going to continue tomorrow, and then next week in Italy. It is it's a wild freaking sport that we cover, dude.
Sure is wild, and there's going to be a lot more of it, and there's some tomorrow. So I am looking forward to it.
And there it is. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. As always, go over to our sponsors at Dynamic Life. It is at LIV Dynamic on Instagram, at Live Dynamic, LIV Dynamic on Instagram for weight loss, sexual health, and anti-aging. They have a link in the bio. 20 seconds later, you could be a patient at Dynamic Life and get your life right. And then head over to the Rasha. It is at Rasha Elite on Instagram. There's a link in the bio that'll take you to therasha.com. That is their website. They are the official mindset recovery tool of the BKFC and the Mike and Mish show. So shout out to our sponsors. Make sure you guys go check them out. Make sure you like the show tonight on YouTube. Share it with your friends and continue to tune in because we are back and we're going to keep on going. Mike, what else do you got for the peoples at home?
Man, I've got too much, but you better be watching the damn fights tomorrow night or you're fucking missing out. Tell your friends, tell your family. Hide your kids, hide your wives. Because bare knuckle coming to get everybody.
Coming to get everybody.
Yep.
All right, man. And thank you one more time for Johnny Tello and Chris Camozzi coming on. What do you say we wrap it up and we will see you next week. Make sure you tune into the fights because we're going to be talking about them with you. See you later, guys. Peace.
Peace.